Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Yes, everybody. Russ for the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well. If you're here, you know what to do. If you don't, then just give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a subscribe. It is Cup final day today, if you're led to be believed, as West Ham take on Tottenham at the London Stadium. 5:30 kickoff. As always, for anyone new to the channel, we try and do a morning show. If we're live, if we're at home, I'll do it live from London Stadium. If not, we do it in the 𝗪𝗡𝗪 bunker. But it is your match day live and your match day, usually match day morning, but match day lunchtime now, in association with our friends at Match Bingo. Download the QR code and use the promo code WHN, or capital letters, for 200% deposit bonus for 18 plus and UK only. So it is on. The sun's just gone down a little bit, so I can actually see the screen, which is nice to see. Hope everyone is well. Good morning, Cyber at Euston, getting the train to Watford today. Good luck to you. It's a busy day for police as well, as everyone's playing, it seems. I thought I'd come up a bit earlier just to make sure I get a decent spot at the old car park, and literally someone pulled out as I pulled in. That's brilliant. So walking around Westwood, a lot of Arsenal fans obviously on their way to the game against Nottingham Forest. 12:30 kickoff. Ours is obviously a 5:30 kickoff. Then Chelsea are playing at 8 o'clock as well. Been seeing a lot of Bolton Wanderers players walking around here today because they play Leyton Orient 3 o'clock kickoff as well. So there's lots of games. Also, there's the march as well, isn't there, in central London? So it's a busy day. Don't bring your half and half flags and scarves today. They'll be confiscated and will not be returned. So what we try and do before the match is to give you if you're lucky enough to come here later on, or unlucky, depends what the result will be. We give you an idea of, get the atmosphere. Well, there's fuck all people here, to be honest. But hopefully, we can have a little chat about the game ahead. Get your thoughts. We'll have the starting 11 show in about 3 or 4 hours' time, and then Anton will be doing the watch along, and myself and Anton will be doing the review show afterwards. If you are going to the game and you see you walking about afterwards, come on over and say hello, have a chat, have your say on camera, and hopefully off the back of a fantastic game today. Rob, hope you're well. Yes, they are. They're actually playing now, I believe. Or is it? It's either 11 or 12. The under-18s play Spurs at Little Heath, and then obviously the first team plays over here. Funny how that happens, isn't it? Michael, hope you're well. Nice to see you. 3-1 to the Hammers today. Hope the weather holds up. Yeah, it's. I think we've had the rain. Although actually, exclusive for the West Ham Network, I'm back in jeans. I'm back in trousers for the first time since maybe mid-May. So yeah, I thought maybe it was going to be a bit colder, but it's quite warm actually in the sun. So I could have probably got away with trousers for another week. But there we go. DJ Blokey, hope you're well. Good morning to you. Michael, Russ, does that not constitute theft by not returning someone's item? I don't know if it's theft if you tell someone you're going to take it away. But then surely that's the same as if you were being mugged and he's saying, give me your wallet. It's the same thing. But that is apparently what's happening. So they will be confiscating any half and half scarves today. Now, what about if it wasn't a Tottenham half and half scarf? What if it was my Eintracht Frankfurt club shop bought one? Would they throw that away? I don't know. I wouldn't think so. But yeah, there's obviously added security measures as well today. Anyone who's wearing Tottenham colours won't be allowed in the home end. Well, I think if you're if you're sensible enough and you're a Tottenham fan, you wouldn't wear colours anyway around here. Well, I have seen a lot of Arsenal shirts today. That white shirt they've got, the sort of the white with the red, it looks really nice actually. I saw loads of them wearing it as they go to the game. Obviously, Big Ange returns to North London today, doesn't he? The Arsenal. So, any links for the under? There isn't, unfortunately. They don't tend to broadcast the under 18 games unless it's part of the FA Youth Cup, in all honesty. But that's maybe something they should look at doing. I mean, the 21s, obviously, they don't play today. Remember this weekend, they play MK Dons next Tuesday in the Virtue Trophy, and then it's a double header at Rush Green. Next Friday, they play Birmingham City under 21, 7 p.m. Rush Green. That'll be on YouTube if you can't get your ass down to Rush Green and cheer on the boys. And then we play Brighton Hove Albion the week after, which is the day after my birthday. I'm sure the collection is going around. Looking ahead to today's game, it was frustrating at Forest game. In fact, we didn't have any football after the Forest game. So, then we went to the international break. So that was really annoying because it seemed I would have liked us to have built on that momentum. But I think guys going away for international duty, with the exception of Fulkrug, who is likely, I don't know. When I did the starting 11 show, I thought he is going to. I've assumed he's not going to start, but you never know. If he doesn't start, then definitely Wilson will start, I would assume, and then vice versa possibly after half an hour or 60 after a half or 60 minutes. But yeah, it'd be interesting what happens with Magassa as well. There's no questions about Magassa in the press conference. He obviously played in the behind closed doors game against Watford. Will he stick with a back four? It was very successful. They won the performance of the weekend by the LMA. They gave them the award for that. Will they roll that again? Will they go back to a back three? I just don't know really. But there's a hell of an opportunity now to kickstart the season. We've got 3 games. We've obviously got Spurs, Palace, not going to be easy, and then away to Everton again, not going to be easy. But 3 good games to see out September. Then we've got a couple of games obviously next week in October before the international break kicks in. So there's an opportunity to really hammer down and hopefully start our season going proper. Who knows? Strange things have happened at sea. Right, Michael says our biggest game. I think the crowd will not be full. I think it'll be a decent crowd, but then I understand. I understand people's frustrations. I think there'll still be a good atmosphere for those who come. Always is when we play Spurs. Always is when we play Spurs. So let's see what happens. DJ Bloke says if Folks doesn't start, I don't want to see him on the bench. I think he will be on the bench if he doesn't start, to be honest. So I think your wish will not be your command. Can't stand half an hour scars if I'm honest, but can they legally confiscate people's property? I don't know. I think it's a warning more than anything. I can't criticise half and half because throughout the European campaign, I did buy the club official half and half scarf for that game. Not all the games, but some of the games, like the Eintracht Frankfurt game and Sevilla, because that was not memorabilia, but it was like, it was a memorabilia. It was a memory of that game. So that's why I did that. But I wouldn't buy it like a Premier League half and half scarf. If it was the FA Cup final or something like that, maybe, but maybe not. Right, what we've got here. Let's say Michael says possibly to stick with the back four and not revert to Salt. That way, at least some of the fans will be on side. Yes, I think again it's hindsight as well. If he does revert to the back three and we win the game, then I think. But to get them on side from the outset, sticking to the back four is an easy way to keep the fans on board at the early stage. Because I thought the team played fantastic. Took out a second half against a decent Forest side. Spurs are a different quantity. They've got a lot of very, very, very good attacking players. And if in honesty, if we dissected that Forest game, they had a lot of chances. Why is there a wasp on my camera? Fuck off. They had a lot of chances. Didn't have the shooting boots on. I think another day, if they were kept some of their shots on target, Chris Wood, particularly that second half, in like 2 minutes of the restart, he parried a header, which he should have done better. Could have been a different result, but for me, we do seemed a lot more comfortable playing the back four, and that's, I think it was Damien said it before. It's in the DNA of a lot of our players, and the back three is still quite an unusual prospect in the Premier League. I think obviously the likes of Man United play there. Amarin's that's his style, but not many other clubs really do that. So even when we buy players in, they have to learn that system. I'm not sure what Monaco play with Magassa. I think they play four at the back because Tilakira plays there, doesn't he? So we had played there. Before he moved in terms of Magassa. Frogging, well, good morning to you. Hope you're well. Who else we've got in the chat? Oh God, it's all gone. Steve, good morning. Peter Jones, hope you are well, my friend. Be nice to see Marshall have a chance under present circumstances. I think he'll be on the bench. He won't start, but he'll be on the bench. David, hope you're well. Half and half scarce woke nonsense. They are for Premier League games, I think. I don't mind a commemorative half and half scarf, I'll be honest. I can't criticise half and half totally, because I like a half and half commemorative scarf, but not in the Premier League. We have to say with the back four, five doesn't work. Players don't look like they know what they're doing. Supposed to be doing that. I totally agree, DJ Blakey. Sorry, I've got the camera on the wrong side, so you're going to get a lot of my fingers. I'd accept a back five this game, says Damien, but that's not as plan A. I think it's all hindsight, isn't it? If we do go to the back five, which I wouldn't be surprised if we don't. If we do, no, I'd be surprised if we don't revert back, because of literally what Spurs have got in their tank. But if it and then we get a result, then fair enough. But for me, it's like it's one foot fills the other. And I think if you start at the back four, at least then, as I think Michael said, fans will probably be on the side a little bit more to start with. So, Michael, question, Russ, where do you see Guilherme fitting into the side? Left wing or centre mid are our best formations for it. Well, really, when we signed him and we had Phil Vickery on, the South American football expert, he said he likes to play as a 10. That's his preferred position. A bit like 𝗪𝗓, where 𝗪𝗓 was out in the wing, but he preferred to play more centrally. I think Guilherme could do a job on the left wing. That's not his natural position, but he's more of a right winger. Obviously, Bowen's there, so it's like a rinse and repeat, really, with 𝗪𝗓, in all honesty. For me, I think he could. He's the understudy to all three positions. So I assumed if we played a three behind the one, it would be, if when all fit, Somerville, Paqueta, Bowen, and then if any of them are injured, Guilherme comes in, and also George 𝗪𝗓 could come in and play similarly in those positions as well. So I think we'll see a lot more of Louis this year. He's obviously, he'll be back from it. He's been training following shoulder injury, and we'll see how he's incorporated. But there's no denying the pace he has as well, and I think it's something which we really, really lack. I mean, what I don't want to see is, for example, he puts Bowen up top and then puts Guilherme on the right. Doesn't work for me. He could put Paqueta as a false 9 and then drop Guilherme in the 10 slot. Don't mind that. But again, there's lots to see, lots of different ways, which is quite nice. Damien says Potter should assess Klopp ball. We have the profiles, especially midfield. Magassa plays 3 in a row, and Fernandes as 8. Yeah, fair enough. Back of Fernandes. Most videos I've seen as Bloomy, he seems to be playing as a 10. Yeah, well, that's his preferred position. Is as a 10. As I said, there's a lot of parallels in terms of him and the dearly departed Mohamed Kudus in terms of the positions they play. And obviously, we welcome back Mohamed with open arms today. Surely there'll be a lovely sort of gentle clap when when Martin announces his name. there'll be no booing, will they? Surely. There'll be no stick your bar stool up your arse. Um, just adds a little bit of spice to it all, doesn't it? That's what I like about those games is when we we welcome back a player. It just adds a little bit of spice to everything. I'm excited for the game. More I think it's one of those games. I know they jokingly call, people each other sides called it the cup final, but it really is one of those games where anything can happen. Really, form really does go out the window. We won our last game. They lost the last game. But it really is a level playing field with the international breaks. I think we've done well. Really, with only full crew being the only one who's had any issues. I still think he'll feature in the matchday squad today. 𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗘𝗡𝗛𝗛𝗛 come back off scoring, and he's come back a different player. Bowen didn't get injured at England duty, which was good. Diouf scored. Senegal. Wan-Bissaka got his first minutes for Congo. So it was a decent. I don't think Mads didn't play. Schmeichel played instead, I believe, for Denmark. So it was a decent sort of international break for us. And the people who have stayed back, the Magassas, the Callum Wilsons, the 𝗪𝗪𝗧 the Walker Peters and people like that, they've come back, and obviously welcome back 𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗘𝗡𝗛𝗛𝗛 as well to the. I imagine I don't know if he'll be in the matchday squad. I haven't. Poss doesn't really need to play two goalkeepers in matchday squad, but he'll be out doing the training, the warming up, same as Wes did. So it'd be good to see 𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗘𝗡𝗛𝗛𝗛 back in a West Ham shirt, and he'll get a clap as well, which is great to see. And again, I love all that stuff. What we got here? Sorry, I'm trying to figure this out. Michael, I bring him on the left, says Roberts. Stefan, when big performances required, and we'll do all right. I think we'll go again recruitment-wise in January. I'm having Macaulay's talent ID. I think we'll be going again. I think it depends what we need. We've got the best part of sort of 3 months now, 3.5 months. We'll also have the AFCONs as well towards the end of the year. I think we'll go again if something comes available. And but also a lot of people have a contract as well in next summer, so they'll be able to sign pre-contract agreements and stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that type of movement, in all honesty. And then there's the whole question mark with 𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗧 as well. Was it mistranslated in terms of what he was saying? Did he say let's go again this season, or was it a complete mistranslation to say I'm basically fucking off next year? Who knows? But I think you'll see, and we have so far, a completely different Lucas 𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗧 in the last sort of few games. It just seems like the world's been lifted off his shoulders, and it's lovely to see. It's lovely to see a player enjoy their football as well. And hopefully, and I'm really excited to see Fernandes play today. He had a really good Portuguese under 21s, was made captain as well. So again, coming off that, he'll be absolutely buzzing. And the performance he put on, I can't remember a debut performance being as good as that for a long time. Maybe Freddie Canute against Wimbledon, but then that was overshadowed by the Di Canio goal. But honestly, he came in and he for someone so young, he played like a player who's been playing for us for the last 18 months. Just slotted straight in. And as I said, if you watch his performance against the Portugal under 21s, he was brilliant. And hopefully that can come through as well in terms of what we've got in the next few games for sure. What we've got here, missed a few comments. So I'm trying to go. He will think fans are cheering with the acoustics when they shout Judas. Everything is in 𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧. The team selection is going to be important. Exciting, like we'll get a good move before kickoff. Totally agree, Steve. Totally agree. But I think it's one of those games where the crowd will be up for it already today. Regardless, it will be. It's Spurs, isn't it? It's Spurs at home. It's a big game. We love the game. Spurs fans will like the game as well. Both sides, both fans will be up for it. There'll be plenty of banter. There'll be plenty of, particularly with 𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧, there'll be plenty of that as well. And I'm really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. And I think the fans will respond as well. 𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗪𝗧 needs to be careful. Mav don't take his spot. He could easily not play today. As in Mav, I think out of all of all the games so far, I think Maz's been our most consistent defender from a defensive perspective across those games. I think every time he's played, he's done a job. He's done a job, and I can't fault him. Can't fault him. So, it's going to be, and the fact that we've paid a fair bit of money for 𝗪𝗪𝗧 officially now. So, he needs to, there's a real genuine competitor for his slot. Plus, we've got Igor as well, who can cover centre backs and full backs. Plus you've got 𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗘𝗡𝗛𝗛. What's going to happen with him and Kyle Walker-Peters? I like the fact that there's two players vying for the same spot as well there, and that's what we want. We want competition across the whole board, because it means that people know that they've got to perform, otherwise they're out, and that's great. And surely that's a good thing for us. After Pac's recent posts, he's improved form this season, all show for his move now. Yeah, possibly. Lop initially leaned towards Mav over 𝗪𝗪𝗧. He said he did. We will need a Paqueta replacement in January. I see the club activating the option then selling him. Possibly, as I said, by the end of next season, or this season rather, he'll have 1 year left of the deal. There is a year option to take. I don't know whether it's activated by the club or activated by the player, or a combination, because sometimes the activation, could Ben. We did that with Ben Johnson, didn't we? When we weren't going to sign it, we weren't going to sign a new deal. We activated his contract extension. There's no, and that's what I like. That's what I think is slightly different about our recruitment now. Is with the likes of McCauley, they have, as you said, they came from the Brighton setup where there was a conveyor belt of players. The next one was being lined up, and you would assume that the next one is lined up for Paqueta. But again, assume makes an ass of you and me. News: Jose Emilio would be too much for West Ham Supremo, says Damien. So it's not Damien, David. Daniel. Paqueta is going to have a good season. I totally agree. No half and half scarves. Indeed. Do not bring your half and half scarf. West Ham Spurs was damn squid. Yeah, but it was towards the end of the season, wasn't it? So it was a bit of a weird one. And they had the Europa League final as well, wasn't it? As well. So yeah, it was a strange one, but I think it's definitely more entertaining as well. I'm starting to get a bit behind Potter a bit more. I need to see him drop JWP. But I think now we've got the likes of Magassa. I wouldn't be surprised, in all honesty, to not see Magassa start today, because him to start. I mean, they've only had to. I think Fernandes just come back from. They've had 2 training sessions since he's been back. So I wouldn't be surprised to see. Sorry, Damien. I wouldn't be surprised to see a JWP or a Souček play alongside Fernandes today if they play 4-2-3-1. And if they do that, I expect for the Crystal Palace game, then Magassa is in, because then they've got a whole week to work on that second. If Magassa was like someone in like his mid-20s, and rather than a 21-year-old, he would know how to slot. So I just think that will eventually happen. You'll have Magassa and Fernandes as that 2 in midfield, which completely transforms our midfield in terms of energy, in terms of pace, in terms of creativity, in terms of just guile. And I think, but I don't know whether today's a game too soon, in all honesty. I'm not saying I don't want it, because I do want it a lot. Whether we get it today is the question. I don't know. Winning our first game since February would be nice. It certainly would do. Harry, hope you're well. Collins has played 4-3-3. There we go. Isn't it, Colin? Oh, it's more 4-2-3-1, really, isn't it? Really, but there we go. 2-2, he says. GP, hope you're well. I mean, eventually Russ will be seen as cover for Fernandes. Oh, totally agree. He will be. And for me, do you see? Someone's asked me about Kante. Do you see Kante getting any games on this season and next? Next season, yes, not this season. I think he's been dealt with in the same way that. So last year he came. We sent him straight back to Paris FC. Didn't get a lot of games. Towards the end of the season, he got minutes. He's obviously come back here now, and the idea being is he will be here, and he's going to be working with the 21. We're going to perfect thing. Will be involved in the likes of the you're probably playing the Virtue Trophy on next Tuesday. There is a great future ahead of him. And, you know, another one of the Strighton signings who will come good in time, you know, and I think it's all the attributes, be an absolute monster in the Premier League. I just think it's a little bit too soon for his development now. And, you got to think he'll come, I think maybe next season you might see more of him. I think we've got enough midfield. We're still trying to get rid of those midfielders as well, so I can't see that happening. But I can see us moving these guys into the pathway. You know, next year we could well have Lewis Orford back in the side as well. Hopefully it means we get rid of the likes of, JWPs, your Rodriguez's. They won't be here next season, I would assume. And then you've got the likes of Lewis Orford, you've got the likes of Kante. Kante may even do a loan next year and then come. There is that's what I've been saying about his conveyor belt of players. There's a real conveyor belt of academy players to come in and benefit the squad, particularly in a situation like now, where you look at our Premier League squad and there is, in essence, 5 spots available because you don't have to register anyone under the age of 21. So the likes of Lewis Orford, and I appreciate he's gone, but the likes of Ollie Scarles, the likes of Callum Marshall, the likes of George Earthy, these guys don't have to be registered. So that means there's more space, there's more gaps for the squad. And there'll be even more next year because I imagine this is the likes of Rodriguez won't be here next season. I would assume the likes of maybe JDP won't be here next season. So, there's this conveyor belt of midfielders at the moment, which I think is really exciting. And obviously, if you watch the Academy show on a Monday, you know all about him. You know all about them. Any chance playing Diamond Lights? No. Peter K says 2-1 Sams. If that is and clearly that's the real Peter K. Hope you will. Caruso and goal. That'd be lovely. Garlic bread. Colin says I would like to see Diop taking free kicks. Well, I think he's got a whip on him with a left foot, and then you got Bowen with a whip on him on the right foot. I think Fernandez also has got a bit of a set play in his locker as well. That's why when you're looking at the side now, for me, there's no spot for JWP. There's no reason why JWP has to play. From a dead ball situation, we've got players who could do that, who then offer extra as well. The only thing he brings is experience, but is that worth it nowadays? Not really. I think in terms of the energy that someone like Magas or Fernandez, who's very much will be, JWP will be his understudy now. Chalk and cheese. I think Fernandez did more in that game than JWP has done all season. In all honesty, which just shows you just how good he is. He's going to be an absolute superstar, and he might be one of those ones who, might only be here for 3 or 4 years and then go to a Real Madrid or something like that, or Barcelona. But you're going to get your money back on him for sure, and then some. Michael says Kante reminds me of Vieira. Yeah, and we haven't had that sort of physical, central midfielder probably since, well, not even physical, but like physically dominating, maybe since Alex Song or even like a Checo Kouyaté. And he's a bit of a throwback to like the days of like Yaya Toure and Vieira and stuff like that. But they were all very successful. But what I like about Kante, and if you watch the under-21s, as I say, will get your ass down to Rush Green next week and he'll be playing. He's very good with the ball. Very good. He's not just a destroyer. When he puts a tackle in it, the opposition feel the tackle. But he can play. He can play. Which I think puts him potentially, above the likes of Vieira and stuff. Because Vieira could play, but he couldn't drop a shoulder. And he was a good player, but he didn't have the skill set that I think I've seen already from Kante. So, the next Vieira, why not? Why not? Such an important season. Sorry, Dave, I'm trying to go. Such an important season. It was like a bit of a transitional season. I feel like giving Potter time. Well, I've been saying, myself and Adam from Dad's Our Pod, we've been saying for the last 18 months, 2026, 27 season is a massive year for West Ham. I'm not saying it's a transitional season this season, but for me, this season, it's about next season. We've got new front shirt sponsors. We'll have new shirt manufacturers as well. And there is also, the potential of, with that shirt sponsorship on the front, naming rights for the stadium, and then that opens up the conversation about the stadium already again. So I think there's a lot. There's a lot going to happen next summer. Frog in a well next season, a potentially step up year already, maybe. Caduceus' red card, the boys should wind him up. No, totally, that's what I mean. Always just wind him up, and like the fans will be up against him. I wouldn't. I'd actually throw his stall away. If he's got a stall here, break it, break the legs, or just break one leg on the stall. So if he does score and sits on it, it collapses and he falls over. That's what I would do. Or make one of the stall legs just about half an inch lower than all the others. Just shave off one leg so he looks like a fucking idiot. That's what I would do. Russ would like to see more Fearon. Me too, Colin. I think he's again. I think again another one on the conveyor belt. This year, very much an under-21 season. I think for him, he was playing the under-21 sort of tail end of last season. For me, it's another full season with him. Him and Kante in the middle, nice pairing. I like that. They'll be playing together in the 21s, I'd assume, and then maybe next year out on loan. Fearon's one of these players. I think he needs to bulk, be a little bit stronger physically. Even someone like. Again, he reminds me of someone like David Silva, talking Man City. Wasn't the biggest guy in the world, wasn't the most built guy, but he was quite strong for a small guy. Someone like Zola, was very strong for a small guy, really hard to sort of, knock off, so to speak, knock off the ball. And I think Preston needs that before going into that. It's just a physicality of the Premier League. But you've got to look. I mean, Fearon, Kante, Orford, Earthy, Potts. That's 5 midfielders. That's our whole new midfield. Plus Magas, plus Fernandes. There's a lot of players. So that I would not be surprised at some stage to see some of them move. Dependent on who, because I just think there's a lot in that area. There's a lot of similar players. When you spent, as Damien said, 60 million on the likes of Fernandes and Magassa, there's not many minutes to go round, is there really? So, but then you've got to think the likes of Souček moving on, Rodriguez, JWP, that opens up 3 spots. That could be your Kante, Fearon, Orford spots already in there. Potts is already in the setup already. There's, and then you look defensively, as I said, and then my boy Edris Golombekis, Ezra Mayers, these guys, can take on that mantle. They've got likes of Amika Adieli taking on that left sort of wing back under Diouf and Scarl. So there is a real, when I talk about this conveyor belt, I'm not just saying that there is a real sense of building for the future. And then we bought like Collet from Paris FC, the right back. I mean that for me is, and he's a centre half as well, but that side starting to be covered with now. So you'll start seeing a lot more of him next season in the 21s, and then building his way up. So I'm excited for what we're going to do. If someone had a brain and see the signings of Magassa, he'll back Macaulay, good value. I totally agree. I'd like the board need to pull their thumb out just to avoid any drama. I think we'll see what happens. I think we should present Caduce with 30 stools of silver. Very, very good. Toby's in the chat. Nice to see you, Tobes. Working at a house with a 10-year-old Spurs fan. Oh, God. I think people might get well and truly carried away pre-season, but that's from someone who really likes him. He's a good player. I mean, I've seen him up close. I saw him last year. I was really impressed with him last year in the under-21s when he played. He's offers something completely different than what we've got in the rest of even in the club, I'd say. That sort of David Silva type role. But he likes a challenge. He liked him, very reminiscent of a Yoshe Benayoun. He was a very skillful player, but loved the tackle. And I see a lot of parallels, in terms of the way that Fearon likes to play, which is great. I love it. Right, Toby, push him down the stairs. Yeah, indeed. What else we got? Mostly on 20s need to bulk up to man's standards. Totally agree, Michael. And that's, Potter spoke about Orford in the press conference and in the sort of the not embargo, but the press conference, and was saying how he needs like first team football now, senior football, and that's because of the lack of a reserve team league. Lewis had outgrown 21s about a season ago. He was head and shoulders above everyone. There was a reason why he was the only one who got voted 2-3 times the Premier League 2 player of the season, player of the month rather, because he was just head and shoulders over everyone he played against. And so he needs to go, and hopefully he'll get the minutes today. Stevenage, they played today, so I imagine he may well get some minutes. Obviously, he was training with the England full side, wasn't he? As a bit like when Rio and Frank Lampard did it in the '98 World Cup. So they obviously see a future for him. He's played 16, 17, 15, 16, 17s, 18s, and 19s, and he's captain most of those sides as well. But he needs minutes. He needs first team. He needs to bulk up. So does Preston Fearon. I mean, he'll tear up the under-21 league this year, and then next year go out on loan, and that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. But I agree, with the exception of Kante. I don't think any of the others are particularly physically strong. No, that's wrong. If they're playing against men, against 21s, you can dominate if you're, anything slightly above average in terms of physicality. But yeah, I think you'd need someone like Kante. I could see him coming in and having the physicality. He's already got it, so it's about the nouts and the sort of in-game management learning in the Premier League before then he gets to step up. Right, let's go, Phil. Right, we've got here. Maybe Potts will step up. So Paqueta will be a tough player to replace. Who leaves a very unique profile. I totally agree. And I wonder whether we end up doing something that we did with Declan Rice, where Declan Rice was a very, very, very unique player and would cover 2 or 3 positions at West Ham. And we never really replaced him with like for like, but replaced him with a number of players. So like Kudus, Alvarez, those types of players. And maybe with Paqueta, he offers something different. He's a 10, he's a 6, and 8, and 10. Really depends how he feels that day. And I think we've probably covered the 6 and 8, but that 10 role. So maybe we go out and buy a 10. So then you've got your 6 and 8 covered in terms of Magassa, Fernandes, Lewis Orford, so on and so forth. But that sort of 10 role. Don't know. Be interesting. It's an interesting situation. Potts will be given Dex. Will be given another Dex given time. Yeah, possibly. Thoughts on formation day? I think most people still want to stick with the back 4. It wouldn't surprise me if we went for a back 3, because horses for courses. But you never know. I think to get the fans on board, if he goes to a back, if the team sheet comes up and it's clear playing a back 4, I think the team and the fans will respond. But then it's hindsight. If it's a massive call if Potter reverts back to a back 3 today, and we lose, because if we stay to back 4, or even if he goes to back 3 and they win, then as a bullshit move by Potter. I think it really, in terms of formation, it really depends on what happens at, where is it? It's 5:30, it's 7:30. In terms of the final result, and then we can dissect it. Whether it's the right idea to move, and if he loses and he plays a back 4, people say, "Oh, maybe he should have gone back to the back 3 because defensively." So I think where he's damned if he does and damned if he don't, really. And it only really happens, pardon me, in terms of what happens at 7:30, the result. Bad news: 3-0 after 40 minutes. Under 18s. That's a shame. That's a shame. The special one says Potts is not as physical as Rice. I think Potts surprised me. I think Potts has got stuff in his locker. You got to think when Declan came into the side, he was the centre half, and they put him into CDM. And then I don't think anyone really saw the true transformation possibilities into an England 8. Really, that's what he is, to be fair. And I think Freddie's got it now in terms of the 6. I think actually Freddie's got more, from when Deck started. I think Freddie's got more ball skills, ball knowledge than Deck at that age. But then, by the age of 22 or whatever, Deck was playing for England and he was doing this. And Freddie's 21, 22, so I think 20 today in the week. So, he's a couple of years behind him in terms of where he needs to be. Not where he needs to be, but where Deck was. So Yeah, I don't think not, very very different people. I think, and I mean, Freddie's a lovely lad as well. But then, to be honest, Dick's a nice bloke, nice boy as well. They're all nice guys. As I said, we'll have the starting 11 show. That'll be starting in a couple of hours' time, and then Anton will be doing the watch along. Anton is running solo technically today, so hopefully you'll be able to hear him, and there won't be an echo, and you'll be able to see him. And then myself and Mr. Baker will be going around after the game. Well, I'll be going around after the game. He's still in Scotland. So if you are going to the game and you see me, I usually come around this area where the European statue is, and then go down the main bridge, having a bit of a walk and talk, usually with Alex in tow. So if you see us and you want to come over and say hello, come over and say hello. Come on camera, give us your thoughts about the game. And also, if you are going to the game or not going to the game, check out the QR code there. Match Bingo, our channel sponsors this season. Download the app and the QR code, or go to Match Bingo in your app store or Google Play, wherever it is. And anything you deposit, if you put in the promo code WHN, all capital letters, you will get 200% bonus on that deposit. And you get your dabbers and dobbers. I'll show you quickly. I've got it here somewhere. Have I got it here somewhere? Let me just press that button. So you can see, you can download. So this is what we've. So you basically get your cards, your bingo cards for the game. And you get things like corners, and you have to fill it in. So you can buy a number of different cards. Same as doing bingo, basically. And with those bingo cards, you get money if you the first one to get a line. I think it's 2 lines and then a full house. And as I said, a couple of times we've won it on the West Ham Network, and although it's dummy money, they've actually honoured it and given the money to the food banks, which is fantastic. So you can see here, you've got a number of different cards, and each card's different, and you get different things throughout the game, and they automatically get checked off as and when they happen. So if you want to get involved, there's the QR code. It's 18 and over, and UK only, unfortunately. And until next time, my friends, don't forget to like, comment, share. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Maybe become a channel member. Our Trevor Brooking, Billy Bonds, Mark Noble shirt closed yesterday. The winner's been contacted. We've got next week, or maybe next week, we've got Jared Bowen signed under the winner's 23 shirt, signed Bowen's on Fire, which will be good. So that will be available to buy tickets as of next week. And yeah, don't forget to join Anton for the watch along if you're not going to the game. And even if you've got nothing positive to say or anything you want to say, just put an emoji in the not now, but in the comments if you're watching this on replay, because that just helps. And it doesn't just help our channel; it helps, all the other West Ham YouTube channels as well. Comments, likes, shares, emojis in the chat, all that type of stuff. It really does help promote the channels and all that. Here's Anton doing a watch along. He is Howard. He is probably won't be as good as when I do them, but yeah, he will be doing that. And yeah, all that good stuff. Someone messaged me the other day, and I just want to reiterate it. We will be doing Anna Coles has come, new Spurs. We will be doing the watch along and all the content for the Brentford game, so the game which has been lined up by Hammers United as the boycott game. We will be doing that. However, what we are doing is we'll be donating any ad revenue, any super chats to that game, all that type of stuff, straight to the Iron Sport food banks. So it's obviously one of the issues about the boycott, if people don't come here, is Iron Sport food banks don't get the match day donations, and so we won't be making a penny from doing that, and hopefully we can save some of the shortfall that the food banks will be having because of the boycott game. Just want to make that point clear, because I've had someone was calling me out the other day, and I was like, nah, we're doing it all for charity. Anyway, take care, everyone. Stay safe, stay warm, stay hot. It's lovely actually. Sunshine. I might even get the sunnies out, and I will see you on the Flippity Flop, hopefully off the back of a West Ham victory. Fingers crossed. Here's hoping. Take care, everyone. Much love. Bye bye.